Many of the most magnetic, successful founders I've met weren't the most strategic or even the most productive. They were the most anchored into who they believed they were. Today, I'll walk you through the shift I made years ago from reacting to life to creating from a grounded sense of self, and how it's helped me lead, pivot, and grow in ways that feel both wildly aligned and sustainable. Imagine making decisions not from fear or pressure, but from a quiet confidence in your ability to hold what you've been asking for. Because if your self-image isn't aligned with what you're building, you'll sabotage or shrink every time it shows up. Hi, I'm Sheila Botelho. You're listening to a minisode where I share an insight designed to help you live into what lights you up this week. I've come to believe that transforming your life begins with rewiring your self-image. Not just changing your habits, not just setting new goals, but truly changing the way you see yourself at your core. Because the version of you that reaches new levels isn't just doing new things. They believe differently about who they are and what's possible. So when I was younger, I imagined that life just happened. Things were black and white. If something went wrong, that's just how it was. I didn't think I had much say in it. And yet I grew up with mixed messages, and maybe you can relate. My parents would often say, you can do anything if you show up, work hard, and use the gifts God gave you. And that really stuck with me. And it informed on what I would do next. But then I'd also hear them talk about the dreams they once had and how those dreams faded when certain doors didn't open. It was as though at some point they just decided, well, I guess this is as far as I go. And then there was a third layer. My father worked for the Canadian federal government, and he was so incredibly committed. He always gave 110%. But I heard this ongoing loop. When I retire, I'll be happy. When I finally get to leave, then life will be how I want it to be. And it was like he stopped seeing possibility for anything more, whether that meant inside of where he worked in terms of advancement, or even moving or pivoting into some different kind of career. He waited for an external shift, some windfall, some change, some endowment to be given to him to set him free. And ironically, something like that did happen. And I kind of feel like he manifested it, but he wasn't fully prepared to hold it when it came. I recognize I've shared a bit about my father and how he had mental health challenges that ran really deep. And so that perhaps was part of it. But what I noticed, obviously we only have our experience and what we pull from that at any given time. And of course, I was very young when all of this was happening. I started to see something that was deeper. And that is this, that what we hold in our hands is tied to what we believe we can hold. Now, money was always a mixed topic in our house. There was faith and potential, and at the same time, fear of lack. And I know I'm not the only one who grew up with this tension. You may have had your own version of the story. So when I entered into the personal development space, things really began to shift. It was like entering a new world because I realized I had more power than I thought. Certainly, I couldn't control every outcome, but I could control how I responded. And that response was driven by one thing, my self-image. What I believed about me, what I believed I was capable of, and what I believed was possible for me. And the truth is, somewhere, even with all that noise, I always felt I was meant for a big life. Not flashy and extravagant, but expansive, aligned, impactful. And certainly I didn't have words like that to describe how I wanted to feel back then. I didn't have the details. I just knew how I wanted to feel in the life I was building. Years later, I saw the pattern everywhere. Self-image is what drives our choices, our habits, our courage, and our capacity. Think about it. If you believe you're someone who thrives in a strong, energized, magnetic body, you'll act in alignment with that. If you believe you're someone who makes empowered financial decisions, you'll show up accordingly. Self-image leads, everything else follows. Now, over the years in business, among all the different kinds of people I've met, two kinds stand out. Both were successful on the outside, but one group was self-absorbed, performative, and constantly striving. Their energy often felt like, look what I did. Don't take it from me. And it was rooted in scarcity. And then there were others who carried success lightly, who gave generously, who made you feel like anything was possible just by being near them. They had a deep self-trust, yes, but also trust in something bigger than themselves. And they knew they weren't the source of it all. They were a conduit, a steward, a participant in something greater. That's the energy I've always been drawn to. And that's the energy I believe you can embody too. So this week, I invite you to reflect. What do you currently believe is possible for you in your health, your relationships, your business, your finances? What's the most elevated, expanded vision that you can imagine? And what is the identity you hold about yourself that's shaping those beliefs? Not, do I deserve it? But do I believe I can hold it? That is where the shift begins. And if you want support with this, I invite you to check out the Season Success Method. You'll find the link in the show notes. It's a practice you can come back to again and again to clarify who you want to become and start living from that place now, because you're already becoming them. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on another episode. Big blessings.